Yo, what's happening, people? And welcome back to the Tiki Taka podcast, where you're going to hear hot takes, unbiased opinions, and hopefully have a couple laughs along the way.
Yes.
If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or watching on Spotify, follow us on there as well. 7 games left of the season. We'll have at least 7 more podcasts. And yeah, the title race is heating up. It's heating up. Things
Big
are getting
time.
interesting, and there's no other place to start other than Premier League's greatest fixture,
Quote unquote.
yeah, quote unquote.
But finally,
The
in
two
the
biggest clubs.
recent seasons, it's been delivering newsworthy sort of performances.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time it's all gas and promotions.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
we end up watching 0-0s and 1-1s.
Newsworthy performances, newsworthy score lines.
Yeah.
And yeah, the promo into this game. We've talked about the promo for Arsenal City that Sky gave last week, but they love
This
Liverpool
one.
Man United
Yeah, this
promo.
one's big time for them.
They go way back to like Neil Ruddock and then playing at Anfield. They showed a clip of Jamie Redknapp scoring. And Jamie Redknapp maybe got 5 Premier League goals in his career. So, but Liverpool or Man United versus Liverpool, should I say?
Yeah.
It was at Old Trafford, and you looked at it before the game. I think even Jamie Carragher said this. That is Liverpool's hardest game of the run-in.
Yeah.
So, again, it's one of those games where if Liverpool go to Old Trafford and win, Man City, Arsenal fans, other fans who are interested in the title race start looking at Liverpool like, damn, okay, they've just gone to... It'd be like Arsenal going to Tottenham and winning. It's the similar sort of thing.
This yeah, I agree with you, because I've been on record here saying that we've been all talking about Liverpool falling off, and them not falling off yet. This result and performance has given me a bit of hope that Liverpool can actually fall off. Like, it was surprising to me, because I agree with you. I thought if Liverpool had won here at United and beaten them convincingly, with this being their toughest away fixture for sure, with all the history involved in it, that nothing might stop them, and that we could just... I think what gives me nightmares and shivers is I remember there was a top 4 race that us and Liverpool were in like 2016. It could have been 2016, 17. And there was like similar situation to this. Must have been 6 or 7 games to go, and it was, we were waiting for Liverpool to drop a couple of points to then get into the top 4, and they literally just won every game. So if they had beaten United at their place convincingly, I would have said, yeah, it's going to be tough to stop them. So look, kind of like what everybody else has probably been saying about this game, and I just think as a spectacle, this was unreal.
Yeah.
This was like prime time Barclays football.
It was Man United Liverpool heritage. That goal, the goals in that game. But the reason I say is that on paper that's Liverpool's toughest fixture is because Gary Neville said this on commentary. He's like, when you look at it, this, you might think this is Liverpool's toughest fixture, but it's one of the easiest games they'll play.
Yeah,
especially that first half. And I was looking at it, and I was like, when Liverpool go away to Fulham, away to Everton, away to West Ham, it's going to be nowhere near as easy as that first 45 minutes.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And I think Liverpool fans are upset. Some of them might look back at it as a valuable point, and they've gone to Old Trafford and got a point or whatever.
Yeah.
We went to Anfield last year. We were 2-0 up, ended up 2-2, and we looked at it and thought, yeah, it's not a bad point. But
at the end of the season, that's what they said, we lost the title.
Yeah. But yeah, well, maybe the games after that. But the difference was that in that Liverpool game at Anfield, Liverpool had a whole host of chances. Salah missed a penalty. They crashed the crossbar. Ramsdale saves at the end. Like we came away from there thinking, yo, thank God we got a point.
Yeah.
Because we could have lost. Liverpool come away from that Man United game more similarly to the West Ham game that came after that Liverpool game where we were 2-0 up, goes 2-1, Saka misses the penalty. I think the feeling for Liverpool fans is more similar to that one, because that should have been 4-5-0 at half time.
All right, so
they should have been out of sight.
Let me rephrase, because I agree with you. Liverpool 100% should have been out of sight in the first half. Even the stats of like 15 shots to 0 shots on target, even just the way I think the game ended up being such a massive spectacle, because no one expected United to even have the lead at any point in the game. Coming after half time, I thought, yeah, Salah's just going to come out at half time, score on the first break, kill the game 2-0
That's it. That's
dead,
game done,
and the hate watch is over. But maybe like last season, because okay, to rephrase, people don't say the 2-2 draw at Anfield is where we lost the league, but they always say it was the start of the end, or it was the start of the demise for Arsenal, and what led after that was West Ham and Southampton, and it was all because we didn't collect all 3 points at Anfield mentally, maybe more so than points tally, and like if we had beaten.
I personally don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that as well, but at the time, that's what and now that's what they were saying, is that if we had beaten Liverpool, and maybe actually I agree with this, if we had
I think the West Ham one killed us.
yeah, but the whole thing is they always start to run at Liverpool. We get the 2-2 draw at Anfield, and then boom. But I think at the time, if we had beaten Liverpool, if Jesus' header had stuck, which it did, and we'd gone on to get another one or won the game 3-1 or whatever, I do think we wouldn't have lost the title. And I think it could be a similar sort of situation.
I remember saying before
here.
that game, if we win at Anfield, I think we'll win the league.
Yeah. And I think it could be a similar sort of situation here where it was like, if Liverpool had won at Old Trafford, and not to say that this will be the end of Liverpool, I fully expect Liverpool to bounce back.
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool are joint top.
Exactly.
They're second on goal difference, so they're very much in this.
The only thing I can really dissect from a Liverpool perspective in terms of what this means for them in the title race is just what this means mentally, rather than what this means points-wise. Like, from a points perspective or a positional perspective, if you're fighting in this race, like, it means nothing to them. Like, it's just you're now on a level playing field with everybody else. That buffer zone that you had is gone, and you still find yourself in a great position. However, what does this mean mentally for Liverpool moving forward? I think will be a more interesting sort of question or something to find out, because I thought that there was elements of that game that was very emotional from Liverpool, and I think we've all spoke about Klopp leaving and what's that going to do for their psyche. I think that built into this fixture a little bit when their second half sort of didn't go their way necessarily. Like, as soon as Kwanzaa makes that mistake and Bruno Fernandes scores that incredible goal, I think we've seen a bit more emotional Liverpool than we've ever seen.
But
not ever, but like this season.
I agree with you, but I expect that.
Yeah.
Like if Arsenal goes to Tottenham and they're 1-0 and we're 1-0 up.
Yeah.
And then Son wraps one from 25 yards.
Yeah, there's a little bit of...
I'm expecting a wave of just, especially away at Tottenham. That's just like
it's
the
true,
magic
that's football.
of the Premier League, the magic of that particular fixture. I'm expecting the emotion, and that's why Jamie Carragher, you could tell he was fuming.
Oh, he was
on commentary, because
they shouldn't be in that position to begin with.
But look, the goals in that game, especially from a Man United perspective, deserve their time.
Yeah,
but we will get to that. But quickly, I did just want to say on the emotional thing, I think that might have been even more prevalent in their game against Sheffield United.
Yeah,
and we both said last week on the podcast, you especially, that like they will beat Sheffield United, but it might not be easy.
Yeah.
Like at this stage of the season, and I was saying that the longer those kind of games, like the Liverpool Brighton game, go on at 1-1, or they got Palace this weekend, the longer those kind of home games, Anfield gets more nervous, Anfield gets more desperate.
Yeah,
it starts transmitting onto the pitch and stuff. And obviously McAllister comes up with a screamer. That then kind of takes the game away and whatever. But that emotional side is definitely going to be there. We saw it with Arsenal last year. At the time, we didn't realize
how exactly
that we were being emotional.
Exactly, we just thought this is the brilliance.
We were just saying Gary Neville's a waste man.
Yeah.
But look, one thing when it comes to title races, Gary Neville he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Like he tends to be right.
Yeah, when you win so many of them, I guess you actually do have some pedigree.
I expect him to know. That's why you can't really listen to Jamie Carragher, because he don't really know what's going. He doesn't know how to win the Premier League title. But Gary Neville kind of has some basis there, and it's going to be about how Liverpool manage that.
100%.
That emotion, especially in those fixtures, because I said they would win every home game at Anfield.
That's going to be a super emotion. Your emotion
that's going to be similar to this game on Sunday.
Machine versus machine in terms of emotion versus emotion. They're trying to stay up. You're trying to win the title.
They're trying to stop you winning the title.
Yeah, the emotion of it all can lead to either great football from your perspective or terrible football from your perspective. Because,
and do you remember when we went to Goodison last year? It was Dyche's first game.
Yeah,
and it wasn't just that we had one or two chances, maybe. But it wasn't just a case of Everton sitting back and hitting us on the counter. Like, them man pressed us. Like, they did not give Zinchenko,
a
Odegaard,
second.
any time on the ball.
So that's why I think, because and as you say, we're gonna give the goals that some time and some credit, but when the Mainoo goal went in, yeah, like it was similar to the Mateta thing. I felt as if it was a bit too soon, even though it went with the momentum of the game. Yeah, because those 10 minutes after the Mainoo goal went in, I felt a certain sense of desperation in Liverpool's counter-attacks. I think that's why Núñez missed his chance the way he did. Salah wasn't necessarily connecting with balls the way he can be clinical in those situations. I think I was literally just thinking in my mind, if they lose this, what it means type of thing. And I felt almost as if the players were saying that whilst they were playing, it's like, yo, we can't lose this. And they lost. Liverpool always have a little bit of chaos around them, but they lost a little bit of composure that they do typically have whilst they're still playing with chaos. And the thing I think is more interesting with Liverpool as well is, you said the Sheffield game. They find themselves in situations sometimes where it is 1-1 or it is maybe 1-0 to the other team, and they do have to come back from behind, and they have the quality, no doubt, to come back from behind. But if you're gonna consistently put yourself in those situations and then maybe get emotional about it, or the ref doesn't give you a penalty, or he sends somebody else off or books somebody, those things can start to unravel. Because that's what happened to us, I felt like, last year. Was once emotions didn't go away in games, we had so many heightened emotions from games previous that, like, I used to hate those minutes when we were behind, chasing games and all that kind of stuff. But I think Klopp actually handled it very, very, very well in the press conference afterwards, when he was just like, hey, look, this seems like a shit show.
He was bugging out on the touchline, though.
He was bugging out but he told the media, like, this seems like a shit show right now because we haven't won, but we're level on points at the top with 7 games to go. There's a lot of football to be played, and that is the truth.
But he also said if Arsenal play this game, they win. And I don't know if that's a bit of mind games.
Maybe.
He knows we have to go to Old Trafford.
We
have to go there on the second last game of the season. But look, obviously, Luis Diaz puts Liverpool 1-0 up. Liverpool dominating that first half should have been out of sight, and they've only got themselves to blame for that. I think that's part of the reason why they probably went in there at half time, and Klopp probably said to them, don't you dare come away from this game not winning because of the amount of chances that we've missed. I definitely think there's more questions about Núñez. Even Liverpool fans are starting to question Núñez.
Yeah, I've seen that as well.
Because he hasn't really got a return against the big clubs.
That screenshot or that post of the teams that he scored against is pretty damning, I'm not going to lie.
But I think we do need to talk about Man United.
Yeah.
And obviously at 1-0, Jarell Kwanzaa, who I was surprised started. I thought for sure that was going to be Konate.
Yeah. If Konate's on bench, surely you start him, innit?
Yeah, but up until that point, Kwanzaa was proving Klopp right. And then one moment, a sloppy left-footed pass, but Bruno Fernandes has it all to do.
Yeah.
And he cuts across the ball. And that's the kind of, like, whatever anyone wants to say about Bruno Fernandes. And in that first half, it was an eyesore to watch Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah. I still don't think he played well even after the goal.
Yeah, potentially not. It was, my eyes were bleeding watching him play. I saw everyone on Twitter saying, thank fuck we can watch Odegaard play and not Bruno. But the technique required to be able to cut across the ball first time, and the ball ends up going in the side netting. He's put it over Kelleher, and that's again, I talk about this Man United Liverpool fixture, like that is just a player turning up for the moment and being like, yeah, cool, let's turn this around. Old Trafford rise.
I literally find it so tough to analyze the United side of things, and like even Bruno's game, I thought the goal itself was spectacular, and Bruno's probably the only United player that can score that goal, and like the confidence they take that first time as well, to see the picture and execute like that is incredible. But as you said, I think the rest of the game, he wasn't terrible.
First half he was terrible,
but he like the grenade launching of the ball into the box is ridiculous. Like his pass completion stats and pass accuracy stats must be atrocious. And then there's even some times in the game, and maybe it's not just him, but like certain players. How many times did Sloboslai or Diaz or Salah or Elliott, when he came on, like, were they leading a counter-attack, charging straight down the middle of the pitch with players on either side, and just choose which corner you want to take it to? and it was they were just running off Bruno, running off Casemiro, running off Kobbie Mainoo. Sorry, like I don't know how to honestly analyze the United performance from individual perspective and a team perspective.
I think, but we'll get on to Ten Hag's style in that game and overall implications for Man United. But obviously, Bruno makes it 1-1.
Yeah,
and then
Kobbie,
something special happens.
The goal still doesn't make sense to me.
Pitch, like if for an 18-year-old, and I'll just relate it to if I saw an 18-year-old at Arsenal come off the bench in a game against Tottenham, score a goal like that.
If Ethan Manieri,
yeah,
in a North London, in this North London derby,
at 1-1 comes on and wraps one like that.
Yeah.
The top
the curler, the swaz on it as it flies in.
Yeah, I mean,
I was screaming in my.
There's a lot of hype around Kobbie Mainoo, a lot of gas around Kobbie Mainoo, and he's in some ways rightfully so, because the way he's been playing warrants that. But we still got to remember this guy's 18 years old, man. Like, he's gonna have mistakes, he's gonna have dips in form. He didn't play that well against Brentford or Chelsea, but to be able to do that in a game against Liverpool at Old Trafford, for an 18-year-old, you have to have something.
He definitely has.
You have to be special in some way to be able. And it's one of those goals where I didn't think it was going in until I saw the net ripple. The whole time I thought it was going wide, and then it just hits the back of the
way
net.
I saw it, it had a certain angle on it that was like, yo, this could really fly in. But it's that point when the keeper dives and you realize, oh, he's nowhere near that.
He's not getting to that.
yeah. That's when I was like, all right, I'm starting to scream. I'm starting to get to the edge of my seat.
Hit the post or...
I agree with your point entirely in terms of he's definitely got... There's certain players, and I should say this moving forward, like the respect I have for a lot of players, or there's an element in which I rate how somebody bursts onto the scene. Like in football, you've seen it with... You seen it with Endrick recently, scoring on his Wembley debut, scoring on his Bernabeu debut.
Yeah.
Type of stuff. You know, Formula One, Lewis Hamilton, like challenging for a title, losing by a point in his very first season. There's so many sports and sort of guys who go on to become goats. And I'm not doing this like Yellow Brick Road for Kobbie, but I'm just saying what I really do respect is a certain player that can burst onto the scene and be like, yo, I have it.
Yeah.
To begin with, straight like fresh off. And I actually thought his game was so-so. But the one thing I'll say about Kobbie is on the ball, he's composed, he's calm, he can like give and go, he can do the 1-2s, he's very tidy with it, and he's a great tackler. Like he can dribble out of tight spaces as well, and he can definitely win the ball back very well in midfield. But I hear what Gary was saying about the positional side of things and like where he's standing. As I said, how many times did Szoboszlai or Elliott or Gakpo or whoever lead like counter-attacking one running straight down the middle of the pitch? Yeah. But that moment, that goal, it 100% signifies that there is somebody special in there. Yeah. And if you get him in and around another central midfielder who has the experience, not Casemiro, because I know he does, but somebody who has the experience and the legs to sort of show him the game, then 100% he could be a linchpin for Man United.
I think the best part I think the best part of that goal is actually his first touch.
I think okay, go on.
Because the ball comes
into it perfectly,
from Wan-Bissaka, and with his left foot, he knows the box is crowded, but he's taking it with his left foot and already kind of turned.
I think the swivel is the best part.
But then he's not even facing the goal.
The swivel is vicious.
Facing like his own goal almost. But he can't do any of that without his first touch. And usually an 18-year-old can come on the scene and rap on in the top corner. And have a moment. Makeda.
Yeah.
And that was a great first touch. Yeah, exactly. But the first touch in that shows me
he's a serious baller.
This guy, for me, he's got the picture mapped out.
I think it's the no look with the swivel.
Yeah.
Because I think it's tough to like distinguish between the two. But the first touch, I agree with you, is perfect. But it's the way in which, like, even after he takes the first touch, he's not in a position to score.
No.
He's not in a position to like he doesn't even.
But he allows himself that option.
He does. He opens it up.
Yeah.
But and then I was also gonna say he's a DMer. He's meant to be a DMer. He's meant to be one of these like potential box to box midfielders. But the way in which he doesn't look at the goal and the confidence in which he strikes the ball, it's as if like he knows like a striker's finish or number 10's finish. He knows where the goal is. He knows those frames aren't going to move. He can see the picture of where he needs to put it. So to combine those things at that age under that pressure, man, 100%, I think it bodes well. And to then link it back to Ten Hag and everything, it bails Ten Hag out. Big time. Because Ten Hag can come out and say, that was all part of my special plan.
We competed.
Yeah. We like that. That's all Ten Hag wanted. All Ten Hag wanted to do was come out of this game having not lost 4 or 5. Like he could have lost the game, Ten Hag, and not been happy, but taking it as long as it wasn't 4 or 5. As long as they showed some fight. As long as it was by a 1-goal margin and they didn't get run over. And at the same time, I'm like getting onto Ten Hag. I also want to give him his credit because maybe I haven't been seeing the picture. Maybe we haven't been seeing the picture. No. Maybe chaos is exactly the style of football that Ten Hag has been meaning for Man United to play. Maybe chaos is exactly the style of football Ten Hag has been meaning to play all season. Because honestly, think about United's last 3 fixtures and what they've symbolized, and the lack of control and the lack of ability to dominate the ball or even look dominant without the ball. Yeah. And then the results. Obviously, they've lost and drawn a couple games recently.
Ten Hag wants.
But maybe it is.
Ten Hag's come out and said, I know my style of play. The team knows the style of play. We want to dominate the ball. We want to press high. And you've touched on this with the gaps in midfield. Like Kobbie Mainoo, Bruno Fernandes, and Casemiro are all hung out to dry in that system because Casemiro's got to cover the width of the pitch constantly, and Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes are getting up and down.
Casemiro's playing tennis. Like he runs to one side of the pitch, dives in for a slide check.
He's playing doubles tennis as a solo.
Dives in for a challenge. The ball gets switched. He gets himself up, runs to the other side of the pitch, and dives straight in for another challenge.
But I said this back in like around Christmas, New Year time. Yeah, the Ineos were gonna give Man United fans a get out for Ten Hag, right? Because if you ask Man United fans, is Ten Hag the guy next year? None of them believe Ten Hag's the guy. If you're a Man United fan and you think Ten Hag's the guy, comment down below. But I don't think you're being serious. Right? Yeah. But now, because I was even speaking to a Man United fan the other day, and he was like, "Oh, don't know what Ineos are gonna do." Ineos might want their guy. Yeah, but what do you want, bro? You as a Man United fan, what do you want? Because I know you lot have seen enough. There's no way you can watch Erik Ten Hag football and think, yeah, this is the guy that's going to take us forward.
What I want to say is, I agree with your point, but what I want to say is, at some point, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, there has to be a level of credit to Ten Hag for amassing so many points, playing such a terrible style of football, such a chaotic brand of football. Like, there has to be a level of like,
I'll give the players.
He's not lost to Liverpool in what? His last 3 games.
Yeah.
Like, and we're battering him saying he's the worst Man United this, he's the worst Man United that. Like, there's
he also lost 7-0.
But that's what I'm saying. He has highs and he has lows. But this season, if you're a Man United fan, it's like
I said he has highs and he has lows.
You shouldn't be anywhere near
where pulled off a 7-0. He has highs and he has lows.
He has highs and he has lows. Man. Like, they shouldn't be anywhere near where they are right now. They shouldn't have got anything out of the game. They shouldn't have got anything out of the Chelsea game. They were 2-0 down. It was crazy that they were 3-2 up to then lose the game again. The same thing with the Brentford game. They shouldn't have got anything out of the Brentford game. But there is, like, if you're looking at the pattern with the United fans is we can actually get points out of chaos. We can. And that's their thing. That has to be their thing.
Because of their player performance. And that's why we have the conversation about Man United and Chelsea players. And boy, will we get onto some of those Chelsea.
No. Yeah. They're still the same.
Bro, Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes, are you seeing the goals?
No, that's still the same.
No one in the Chelsea squad is scoring those goals.
Willy Kambwala is not, and he's played well. He played very, very, very well. He played very. I want to shout out to him.
Yeah,
because that is the same way we're bigging up Kobbie. Yeah. It's a similar sort of challenge for him, man. And Liverpool, like, could be top scorers in the league or second top scorers in the league, and he's rushing into challenges. He's getting it right a lot of the time, but he's not better. I'm not gonna lie, than any of, or he's just as good and just as shit as all of Chelsea's
He's
centre
better
backs.
than all of them.
Bar Thiago Silva, who you put in a
Thiago,
separate box, but Disasi and Badiashile and Chalobah and those three who started for
What
Chelsea.
I've seen of Cambola,
Bola, he's not better and he's not worse.
what I've seen of Cambola,
If
he is better than them.
If Disasi,
Bro, there's no
if
way
Disasi's moved out of
you can
Poch,
tell me Badiashile and Disasi. After watching Cambola, then we saw what them man.
No, but
doing
I've seen Disasi put in decent performances.
Pochettino subbed Badiashile on to hold out the 2-1.
I've seen the problem is I've seen Disasi and Badiashile put in decent performances. Yeah, I haven't seen Cambola put in a stinker yet.
When?
I remember the City games.
I remember they played together at Anfield.
And no, they don't play well together. Yeah, they don't play well together. They don't play well. It's one or the other.
That's Chelsea talk.
We're coming on to it. Yeah. All I want to say is I'm here always to shit on United. The style of football is atrocious. They should lose every game. They shouldn't be in 6th place. They shouldn't be. But beyond just saying that, beyond just constantly saying how terrible they are, I do think that Ten Hag. Well, that's the only sort of thing I'll give him is, man, somehow, some way you amass points in a chaotic style and brand. It's not sustainable. And if United fans want to look at me in the face and say, yeah, sign me up for another 3 more years of that, or next season he's gonna push through all of these barriers and then there's gonna be a style, it's never gonna happen like that with Ten Hag and United. I think that marriage is broken. There's some serious problems in there. Yeah. But
bro, you just gotta look at the amount of times in that first half, Roberts, we know Klopp's game, Liverpool and Bradley are bombing. They're going forward as much as they're defending, Rashford and Garnacho do not help
Rashford
their fullbacks.
Could not care less.
At all. Garnacho, you ain't even had a season like Rashford. Bro, you're a young kid trying to start for Man United.
Oh, I haven't even done my Dallo piece.
Should be coming back.
Yeah, no, and that is coaching for sure. Yeah, that because they start next week and they know they're starting next week.
Exactly.
They know they're starting next week, and it's like I don't have to run, and that is part of the problem.
We said last week Eric Ten Hag can't come out in a press conference and be honest, and he can't because Anthony has shown that he's not going to be the two-way player.
Yeah.
I don't even know who else they have as options,
and I don't even think Amrabat shored things up. Amrabat, by the way. He cannot. We talk about Casemiro not having legs. Amrabat is by far the least mobile midfielder the Premier League has. Sander Berge, all of these guys have more mobility than Amrabat.
Sander Berge is pretty mobile.
Amrabat is trash.
Yeah, I think
Amrabat is trash. He plays with Tim's.
It's close between Amrabat and Enzo
with the least amount of mobility. Enzo's been dog shit, but Enzo has he's a bit more of an athlete than Amrabat. Amrabat's top speed is 5 miles an hour, and it takes him 10 minutes to get up to that.
I reckon in a 50-meter race, Amrabat beats Enzo.
Oh, no chance.
I think Amrabat
no chance. Amrabat can't do a 50-meter race without falling over. Can't. Enzo, I can give him that. Enzo can get to the 50-meter line.
Enzo could run full speed. Amrabat could fall over twice, and he'd probably still win. But look, as you can tell, Chelsea are going to get cooked.
And what I want to say is quickly on Dalot, I'm not having any Dalot praise because I know who Dalot is tidy going forward. He's decent. Going forward, he'll do a little bit of a job. But Dalot, he's 25 now. Yeah. And you can always run in behind Dalot. Dalot has never stayed switched on for 90 minutes in a football match. Ever
in possession,
ever
the way he picks the ball up in midfield.
Oh, he's nice.
It's nice.
He's nice. I see the pictures. But defensively, Dalot is so sus. And I'm done giving Dalot. Oh, he's young. He's got to learn. Dalot's 25.
It's similar to Wan-Bissaka because 1v1. That even when they came to the Emirates, we were praising that. I know Jesus sent him.
Yeah.
But even after that, after that game, we were saying, Dalot,
he's done a decent job. He can do. That's the problem with Dalot. He can do decent jobs.
It's the same with Wan-Bissaka. When the ball's on the other side and it's coming round us, they'll go to sleep. Even the penalty Dalot gives away on Madueke, is so clumsy. So clumsy. To just fall over like that.
I remember what Zaha did in the Champions League when they were at home, and that will be burnt into my brain as a premium Delo defending memory.
But come on, man, we can't judge fullbacks based on what Zaha does to them.
No. And then Wan-Bissaka needs to get his, because despite how shit United were, there, as I said, there was a point in that game with 12 minutes to go, where you can see Liverpool were beginning to panic a little bit about the prospects of leaving here with something. And I thought, all right, just don't make it easy for them. Like, if Liverpool, if McAllister knocked one in from 35 yards again, calm. If Salah picks the ball up, dribbles past 3 players, slots it home, hold your head up, hold your hands up and say, hey, look, man, we gave him a good game. We did everything we could. It is what it is type of thing. And I really genuinely thought that if United had held on to the lead for an additional 5 minutes or 5 minutes
Liverpool
longer,
going to break them down.
That's what I'm saying. I think mentally it would. You could see it weighing on Liverpool.
Yeah.
And once the fans start cheering, balls headed away, and corners that go to United's way, and throw-ins and stuff and goal kicks, that weighs on people. Players start going down, 100%. Cramp, all that 100%. Kind of stuff. And Liverpool might just shrug their shoulders and go, "Oh, you know what? It wasn't meant to be at OT today." So for Wan-Bissaka, on a needless challenge, on a needless attempt, it's not even a last man, last ditch. He's good at the last ditch, last man kind of situation.
And normally when Wan-Bissaka makes that kind of tackle, I'm sat very calmly.
Yeah, because he's going to get there.
Like, yeah, cool, do it.
I just thought that was so criminal of him, man.
And even
Rookie
for the,
of the week, guaranteed.
Even for the guy saying that it's not a penalty or whatever, I think it probably is a penalty because he does catch Harvey Elliott's standing leg. But even if you want to say it's not, it's so dumb from Wan-Bissaka.
It's just so unnecessary.
He gives the referee a decision to make.
And there's bodies. Like Harvey Elliott's moving across. People are sliding over.
Yeah.
There's not even an overlap, or like there's no need to panic.
Yeah.
And he's just panicked and he's lunged in.
But yeah, I think, look, that was a spectacle.
It was a great game.
It was a great game to watch. And
it was a great game.
I do think, like you said, had Wan-Bissaka not done that, I think Man United, I don't think Liverpool were going to break them down. And I do think that for Liverpool, there is just a bit of that, like, mentality block of, like, can we win at Old Trafford?
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say is, you've said it many times about Liverpool's midfield and how that's not a title winning midfield and stuff. Yeah, I've agreed with you on that. But also just the season, not to say that Liverpool shouldn't win the Premier League, but their Big Six record and like not being anybody in the Big Six or winning one game in the Big Six, it would be tough to see that
against Chelsea when Badiashile and Disasi.
It would be tough to see that lift the Premier. It would almost go against everything that as we've said that we've known that you need to do to win the league.
Yeah. 100%. But moving it on to another team in the title race, who a lot of people hate watching. A lot of people thought this might be a fixture where they slip up,
sure,
drop some points. Arsenal went down to the South Coast. They went down. They saw the Seagulls. They bopped them, got the 3 points, got back on the coach, and came back to London. And it maybe wasn't as easy as I'm making it out to be there. But the first maybe 10, 15 minutes, I would have thought, damn, this could be...
I was nervous.
This could be a bit long, man. Like, Brighton got out of our press a couple of times. Shock on Zinchenko's side. Which, by the way, I think is why Mikel played Gabriel Jesus. Because I thought, your boys with this guy, help him out.
Deal with his shit.
Yeah, exactly. But then after that, Arsenal started getting control of the game. They started keeping the ball. They were creating so many chances. And to be honest, we could have been... I know Enciso had that chance that Raya makes a good save from.
That was a great chance. I'm not going to lie. He twisted up Saka bad. If that had thrown in his goal of the season.
But like, he twists Saka up, but then Saka gets back to his feet. And the separation and the gap isn't that much.
Yeah, no.
And then Enciso still wraps it the way he wraps it. And, I think, look, Arsenal could have been 3 or 4-0 up at half time.
Yeah. The Gabriel chance.
Saka had his chance where he cut in. Gabriel Jesus had a header. I think Kai Havertz had a bit of a half chance. But Obviously, Saka then gets the pen.
I actually think that Jesus said is like it's tough. It's a half chance.
Yeah, it's a
Like,
but I'm never gonna expect Jesus to score that.
Yeah. Fans were saying, "Oh, he must score." I was like, "What?"
But it is one that like
You should do better. Hit the target.
Yeah.
I hear you.
We
But
even
we know Jesus. He hits 9 out of 10 times. It's
because then he did actually hit a really good shot that
yeah.
Verbrugge made a good save from. But obviously, Saka steps up for his penalty. I think this was the same match week as his one against West Ham.
I hated how much they banged that drum.
Yeah.
I hated how much they banged that drum. Like,
if they even asked him about it afterwards.
They asked them about this. Anytime they could get it in, they would get it in. And you remember last year how, and it was just, calm.
But yeah, he buries the pen, side netting, and then Arsenal take over second half. Jorginho and Havertz made in Chelsea.
Yeah.
So thank you, lot. Any Chelsea fans watching that, thank you for those two players, especially Kai Havertz, because then he ends up picking up the assist. Trossard gives it to his old fans and the goal. But a couple people, obviously, I mean, you're going to have people that you want to talk about as well, but two people that I want to mention here. First one, David Raya. I think so. He's got the most clean sheets in the league. He's clear by 3. He didn't play the first 4 games of the season.
Yeah.
And he didn't play both Brentford games.
Yeah.
So he's missed 6 games of Premier League football, and he's still 3 clean sheets clear.
Do we keep clean sheets in both Brentford games?
In the one away from home.
We did it away from home.
Because then Ramsdale decided to give Wissa a goal at the Emirates.
Oh, yes. Sorry, yeah.
But, and I know the clean sheet thing, our defense has been brilliant, and they deserve their props as well. But everyone was saying, Mikel Arteta, he's bringing David Raya, he's unsettled the squad, he's unsettled Aaron Ramsdale. Brought in Kai Havertz wasn't even really one of the guys I was going to talk about, but brought in Kai Havertz. Why is he spending 65 million on Kai Havertz? All of this. But everything I needed David Raya to do that Brighton game, and everything I've needed David Raya to do post the Luton game where he made that mistake, he's done flawlessly.
Yeah.
Like, he keeps the ball ticking, he keeps possession, he was playing some nice passes into midfield, and the most important thing, it's all very calm.
Yeah.
There's no hesitation. I agree with you. There's no panic.
Do you know
what's he gonna do?
You know what's funny about David Raya, I think, and I completely agree with everything you're saying, because that calmness, you can definitely feel it. There is no panic, and there is no the keeper's too much involved in the game type of thing. And I think the really interesting thing about Raya is I actually feel like, I don't know what the stats are about his kicking, but I actually feel like he's not as good a kicker as I thought he was. But what I really do like about David Raya is he can hit a ping, he can find somebody, and that is a threat for people. So certain people are either afraid to press him because they're like, man, if I press him and he pings it to whoever's in midfield,
to get to the man that I've just left.
Yeah, the overload is already there. Yeah. And it's kind of like basketball. Obviously, we watch the Man in the Game podcast where it's just like sometimes all you need is a threat. Like, you don't even necessarily need to hit that corner 3 every time you get a chance to hit the corner 3. But you do need it, to occasionally hit it, or the threat of hitting it to completely fool the defense, or to have the defense worried about you. And that's how I feel about David Raya and his kicking. It's like some games it's not all the way on it, hundreds, but some games it is. Yeah. And you can't take that chance when a lot of teams, when they press us or how they approach pressing us and setting up their defense, it's like, man, if he is on it though. Yeah. And he does hit the ball front to back, and he does hit Jesus, or he does hit Martinelli, or he does hit Odegaard in midfield, we're fucked. Yeah. And I love that addition to our arsenal, to use a pun. Yeah. I agree. I think his long kicking hasn't been. I do think he's got it. I saw it at Brentford. Yeah. Times he would ping it to Tony, but there was one pass in particular where obviously Brighton are trying to press. And I don't know how much we'll speak about Brighton, obviously, because we're the entire race talking Arsenal. But just quickly, I have a lot of time and I know a lot of love for De Zerbi. Yeah. I know he's moving mad right now in press conferences. Yeah, they tried to bait him out as well. Sky tried to bait him out. Or Tony Bloom saying record profits. Or what do you need to do to catch Arsenal? And De Zerbi's just like, look, I don't think we can catch Arsenal. He's too honest in his interviews, and I like that. I was saying that. But he is basically kind of saying Chelsea,
Man United, come and get me.
Yeah.
But
So remember, they asked him. Sorry, just to quickly, they asked him like, "What about your summer?" He's like, "Oh, I need to see the vision of I need to see what."
I don't know if the board vision matches my vision. Yeah, he's moving a bit mad right now. But I have a lot of love for the way he plays ball, the way he sees the game. We've seen Pep say it last season. Obviously, we weren't podding.
They're the best.
Yeah, and Arteta in his press conference after, they are so good in build up.
Yeah,
they are the best in the league at build up and whatever. But so yeah, she could quickly shout out to Zerbi and stuff because that's a tough game for him to be involved in. And Brighton, especially when he said they're missing Solly March, they're missing Matoma, they're missing Evan Ferguson, they're missing Billy Gilmore. Obviously, it's going to be hard for them to compete. But there was a time where they all come and press, and I think it's Jorginho is the spare man, maybe a couple yards off the halfway line, and David Raya just plays a pass on the floor.
Yeah, straight into
a firm, hard pass that can't get intercepted, straight into Jorginho, and now we're like a 4-on-3.
That must be so deflating because whoever is conducting the press, you must be thinking, we might have them here.
Yeah.
We might have them here. And you can't account for a goalkeeper playing a pass that good.
Yeah.
Into midfield to another guy who's like, you don't want to give him time and space.
Yeah. And the thing with David Raya is he takes 1 or 2 touches max most of the time.
He never wants to have the ball,
right?
man.
Yeah, like even if
so good.
Whereas Ramsdale, and again, this ain't a Ramsdale bash session, like we say every week. This is just a comparison, right? But Ramsdale will get the ball, Saliba there, Gabriel there, pop it off, and then they can go and play. Yeah, but Ramsdale, one touch, another touch. Oh, is Martinelli making the run yet? Can I be the
Ramsdale
hero?
bounces the ball twice.
Yeah.
Before
can I be the hero? Can I get an assist? Can I play some outrageous pass? And delays. Raya, it's 1 or 2 touch. All right, Saliba's there. Give it to him. He'll play. But yeah, David Raya was one of them, and the other one. Surprisingly, people might be like, I haven't actually mentioned any of the centre backs, but you might mention them. You might speak about them. Martin Odegaard. This is what I need from Martin Odegaard. This is what I need away from home.
Conductor.
The way Martin Odegaard is playing right now, and if you know me, you know how much I rate the player I'm about to compare him to. So
talk about it.
The way he's been playing since we came back from Dubai, really, he reminds me a lot, almost a spitting image
of the big boy,
of Bernardo Silva.
Yeah.
Who did? Is that who you thought I was going to say?
No, I thought he was going to say Mez.
No. He needs to. He's not quite there yet. But I say Bernardo Silva because I'm watching Martin Odegaard, and these guys just can't take the ball off him.
Yeah.
Like, again, a lefty, similar sort of frame to Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, the jink.
And I love Bernardo Silva as a player.
50 mil release clause.
Yeah. Snap that up. Mikel, get on the phone to him. Bring him to this club, man. But yeah, Bernardo Silva. And the one thing that players, whenever you see any interviews with players, they say about Bernardo Silva is you can't get a ball off him. And Odegaard will get it. And previously, there might be 2 or 3 men on him, and he might get muscled off it, or he might try something and lose it. But now he just seems to be more athletic.
More,
like
something's come over him.
He can hold the contact now. He can take the contact and move on or win the foul. And bro, the way that ball sticks to his foot is he plays the. And again, I don't need to see Martin Odegaard with a GA to know that his fingerprints are all over that game.
The goal, there's the Havertz goal.
The
second goal.
To Jorginho.
I think that sums up Martin Odegaard's involvement in this team. It's like even if you won't get the applauders for it or whatever it might be, he is always involved in everything positive going forward that we do. Like he has a touch in whatever sort of attacking sequence that we have, and more often than not, it's the most vital touch to open up the defense, to make the play. And I said this a couple of weeks ago in terms of, I'm in a situation last year. Martin Odegaard was banging in the goals, 15 or whatever it was with the assists. And I was at the beginning of this season, I thought I wanted a replica of that. I thought I wanted another 15 and 8 or 15 and 10 or whatever it could look like. But he's moved into one of these Bernardo Silva-esque, you could say, roles for me in the pitch or in the team, where it's like, I as you say, I know he can have a good game without having to leave the pitch with a goal or an assist, and I don't necessarily. I put that pressure on him, yes, because he's a midfielder and he can score goals, but I don't necessarily put that same pressure on him that I would have last season or I was at the beginning of the season of like leave this game with a goal or an assist. Like I now know he can do a lot more.
Yeah. Because he's also not playing the same role.
It's not.
And that's another thing. Like prior to January, I did not want to see Martin Odegaard in the first phase of play.
Deeper.
Getting the ball with someone like an Onana or whoever it is coming to press them. I did not want to see that, right? Baleba, whoever it might be, Lamina come and press them in the first phase of play. But since January, Martin Odegaard's been getting the ball deep. He's been dictating the play. Even when he picks it up there, even in like the Porto game and stuff, and guys come and press him, you just can't get the ball off him.
Yeah. No, he's honestly he's been incredible, man. And as I said when we was at the Luton game, I don't know how, but he will have to play every 90 minutes from now to the end of the season. And I don't know how he's going to do it, considering he played for international and, you know, he's played every game since Dubai.
I think him and Havertz might play every 90.
But he's going to legitimately...
Because the way they work together as well, especially defensively, is top.
And another thing about Martin is it's so noticeable to see how he's taken on the armband and the leadership role. And I guess other fans won't care about that shit, but it's just so noticeable to me as an Arsenal fan to see him take up. But in terms of what stood out to me about this game...
Yeah, anyone you wanted to speak about?
And there isn't too many people that we've done Havertz this season. We've already told you how good he is and what he's done
getting
for
a man of the match in the run-in. Big time.
Yeah, I love what Trossard done. For me, I think the player that was most interesting to me was Zinchenko, because I think fans are very divided on Zinchenko. Maybe not even divided. I think there's maybe more unity that fans want Zinchenko out the team than fans who want him in the team. And I just think that I feel what fans are saying. When Zinchenko's on the pitch, we feel defensively more vulnerable. That imperious defense that we speak about. He gets
targeted.
Yeah, that imperious defense that we speak about. It feels a little bit more shaky when Zinchenko's there because and Brighton were targeting Zinchenko. Yeah. But it's funny because I think he's in that Havertz, Jesus sort of cycle where everything for him is going to be nitpicked at. And like, I actually don't think his performances in the last two games have been necessarily bad. I think he's come in there
the Luton one really wasn't great.
I don't think he's been great, but I don't think necessarily he's been bad. And I do think that Arteta isn't putting him in the team to be this resolute defender. Yeah. So I think like it's tough because he's a left back, so he's gonna get.
But he's also not putting him in there to be a dickhead defensively.
He's not. He
like,
can't be.
One time the ball comes across from the other side of the pitch.
Yeah.
The game on Saturday. Zinchenko, your bread and butter. This ain't even really defending. Your bread and butter is just control that ball, and it goes under his foot. The counter attack, they get a corner.
Zinchenko makes some ludicrous sequences happen.
Yeah.
With Zinchenko involved.
Yeah.
And some of them, as you say, are not even defense. It's not like he's been skinned. Yeah. Like it's very rarely do we actually see him skinned. It's a lot of the time like some sloppiness on the ball, some carelessness on the ball. But I do genuinely just feel and have this feeling that he has a huge part to play about what happens for us between now and the end of the season, because I do see it, even despite all the bullshit that he does do, even how sloppy he is on the ball sometimes. There's moments in that Brighton game, in that Luton game, where there's a little bit of chaos, or in terms of like the ball is bouncing around, they're kicking it long, we're nodding it back, they're kicking it long, we're nodding it back type of thing. And we're wondering like who's going to get on the ball. And he does just step in sometimes.
Yeah.
Get on the ball, play a crisp 5-yard ball into Odegaard or out to Martinelli or Jesus or wherever it is. And he does show you that he has that. Or even sometimes in Luton and at Brighton, whenever the ball is being cut back to the penalty area, more often than not, it's him who's made that run across to make sure that the attacker doesn't get there. So I'm not necessarily even calling for him to start versus Bayern Munich. I think Arteta will start him. I would go with Tomiyasu. But I think I just think it's going to be really interesting to watch Zinchenko for the last couple of weeks, because I feel as if fans are like meh on him, but I feel like Arteta's going to lean into him and be like, yo, I need you to step up, be that head. You've won 4 Premier Leagues. You've played in Champions League semi-finals and finals and all this kind of stuff. Like, you've seen this. I'm not going to... Kivio, as great as Kivio's done, you know, this is what I bought you for. So I think see like if you're to comment if you're an Arsenal fan, like how are you feeling about Zinchenko? Do you trust him? Do you trust him in the running? But I genuinely feel as if Arteta's going to give him a lot of minutes in some of the games. Like I think he starts on Tuesday for Arteta. Despite me not necessarily wanting to see a Zinchenko Sane one-on-one
I don't know if he'll start.
matchup. I don't know, but
I think Arteta might.
To be fair, he's played in the last 2 games, so maybe he won't give him.
But look, man, Arsenal did what they needed to do.
Yeah.
Potential banana skin.
It was confident. It was complete.
It's looking at the moment very different to how it was looking
last year.
And we didn't speak about the centre backs or Ben White or whatever, but quickly, William Saliba.
Yeah,
not even really gonna talk about him defensively, but
on the ball,
the composure.
Yeah, I feel you. There was a time, not even that clip of when he's dropping the defender. There was a time when it was offside, but he was out in like a 1v1 situation with the winger, and he was doing step overs and acting like he was gonna sort of drop a shoulder and drive past him.
No,
he's serious.
William Saliba is a special footballer. He's gonna go right to the top. That guy, if he's not already there for some people. But
the last thing I'll say is just on Arsenal now in the title race. I just feel, again, we said this a couple of weeks ago. We'll probably say this all next week, but like, no one can call it. I think the only reason Arsenal isn't more prominent in terms of people's like first choice or predictions or whatever is honestly just because they haven't seen us do it, and that's fair enough. Yeah. But I think that is it. I think whatever other reason people are trying to tell you is just some made up waffle. The only reason Arsenal isn't top or number 1 or first choice is because they haven't seen us do it, and no one can call it. No one can tell you one way or another which way this is gonna go.
Because most people's first choices are still Man City,
and they
went.
They're my first choice though.
Same. They went away to Palace this weekend. Again, like I was saying about Arsenal potential banana skin. Man City don't have a great record at Selhurst. They usually find it tough there. Pep in his presser, Selhurst. We know, always tough. And after 3 minutes, Mateta spins off the back of Diaz, buries it off the post and in.
Yeah, it's a great finish.
And things are starting to look interesting. But 10 minutes later, KDB, he thinks, you know what? Let's not let this fester. Let's not let Selhurst Park get up. Let's nip this in the bud here and now. Top of the box. Michael Elise?
No.
I think it's actually a better goal.
No, it hasn't beat anybody pace for pace.
The finish though,
I still don't think the finish is quality.
He's at a tighter angle.
I don't know.
He is definitely.
I don't know. I think it's the exact same angle.
Elise was kind of at the top of the box.
No.
Was more.
I think the ball could have actually been struck at the exact same blade of grass
I don't think KDB
on the opposite side of the pitch. What I will say though is,
the goal.
It's pure quality. It's pure. From that point, whatever you was thinking, you knew City was going to go on to win that game. Like, even if Mateta had scored another 2 goals before half-time to make it 3-1 Crystal Palace. Yeah. When KDB smacked one in top bins like that, Man City are winning that football.
Even his second goal off the left
thump.
Foot.
Just put it in. Rodri.
Near post. Yeah.
Assist. And Rodri actually had a stinker.
Yeah.
In that game. Yeah.
I was nicking it off Rodri.
And that little Ortega drag back thing is coming from a sloppy Rodri pass back.
Yeah.
You know, could have been a day.
Is Rodri getting tired?
Rodri a week after saying I'm in the best shape of my life. No, I think, man, there isn't much to say about that Man City performance. It's one of those ones that they can actually just churn out.
Yeah.
Like the big hitters are big hitting again. Haaland and KDB are showing.
Grealish had a decent game.
Grealish actually played really well.
Yeah.
Grealish actually played really well, and I think the more interesting stuff is the small stuff of like Pep benching Foden, not giving a minute after. I think that means, like, obviously maybe it's more respect. You're starting Real Madrid. Don't waste your time with Crystal Palace. You're starting Real Madrid type of thing. But it's just funny scoring a hat trick and not
Haaland 0 minutes against Villa.
yeah.
But I think that was just Man City, just like
we're not going.
Then, let's go.
Honestly, I do think, and I hear it when people say this would be the most impressive Man City win. 1, because it's the 4th, but 2, because I think this is the worst Man City team out of the 3 that have won it for the last 3 years. And so for this team to only be a point behind Liverpool and get it over the line, like I don't think Doku's better than the Mahrez's and the Sane's that have come before him. I don't think this season Haaland is better than last season Haaland, or is better than any season Aguero that has won the league with City. Kovacic in midfield is not better than Gundo and all those guys that have come before them. So I think from a team perspective, even Guardiola's performance,
Rico Lewis,
yeah,
got on the score sheet.
yeah, Oscar Bob and all these guys who rising ballers.
Yeah,
Guardiola is not as solid and as rigid as
he hooked at half time.
As never seen the put, all this kind of stuff. So
we have
we've not seen Laporte.
Don't try that one.
So I just think that from that City perspective, I think it's their least, I should say, maybe threatening team. And the fact that they could actually probably still win, they're in it for another treble or whatever it could be, is incredible.
Yeah, I think that was just a game of like City kind of showing, look, we're ready, let's go, and City very likely could go and win every game.
I think they will. I honestly think they will.
Yeah, so
I honestly think they will, man.
And we said this last week. We were like, all three, Pep, Klopp, and Arteta are going to be telling their squad, we need to get 27 points from 27.
Yeah.
And whether it takes that or not, like, you pretty much know that Man City, unless there is some Champions League fatigue, obviously they play Real Madrid tomorrow.
That's what I was going to say.
That might be the case for Arsenal as well. But yeah, I mean, it was ominous watching KDB and Haaland scoring.
Dunk.
And yeah, KDB got the assist for Haaland's goal as well. But yeah, 1 point separating the top three teams again. So yeah, this title race is going to be interesting. But moving it on, top four race, Aston Villa versus Brentford. Unai Emery trying his best
to throw it away. I think at this point they've lost it. Honestly, I think they
haven't lost it yet.
Not lost it in terms of mathematically, it's all still to play for. Their level on points. Tottenham have a game in hand,
which they'll lose because that's at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, that's going to mean a lot. But just Villa's form recently, and they've not been losing games, but the draws are catching up with them.
The goals they're conceding.
Like there was a point.
They conceded 7 goals this week.
There was a point. I was going to say there was a point 2 weeks ago where Villa were like 4 or 5 points ahead of Tottenham, 6 points ahead of Tottenham. Or that week before they played each other, it was like Villa had a chance to go like 8 or 9 points ahead of Tottenham.
Yeah.
Or Tottenham closed their gap. So Emery is starting to show that this thing that we know that Emery can do, where in the stretch, in the run, in the final couple of games, and actually I shouldn't say Emery because it's unfair. This is Arsenal Emery. Emery in every other club has actually probably done very well at this stage of the season when he's won the Europa Leagues and he's gone on to do like these amazing things in cup tournaments. But Arsenal Emery, I think
his league form has always, even when Villarreal played Liverpool in that Champions League semi, I think they were like 9th or 10th in the league.
Yeah, maybe, to be fair, maybe it is more than that. Maybe it is more than just the Arsenal thing, but we know him to do this.
Yeah.
We know him to come into these situations, and if Aston Villa, as much as I said that I think they've lost it, I don't think they've lost it, but I think they will lose it by a point. They will lose it in the most excruciating way, because that's what Unai Emery does. Like it will happen in the most excruciating way, and you'll end up missing Champions League automatic qualification by a whisker, by a goal line decision, by a long lay pass back, something ridiculous, and that will be that. But to be fair to them, they still do have Ollie Watkins, who is better than all of Tottenham's attackers probably put together in terms of form this season. So he could be the one to bail them out, because that Brentford have been shit all season. So for Brentford to turn up and score 3 goals, score 2 goals in 3 minutes, all that kind of stuff. It's
no Tony.
No, it's a bottle. There's a bit of a bottle in there, man. There's a bit of a bottle job in there. Like,
I mean, to go 2-0 up and then be 3-2 down and have to fight.
Not to this Brentford. Not to this Brentford. Like,
with Tony on the bench and stuff. But yeah, Wissa scored and Bremo scored a nice goal.
It's good to see him back, and hopefully he's not lost it.
But yeah, I think look, if 5th place ends up getting Champions League,
They're calm still.
yeah, it'll be a great season for
But
Aston
we
Villa,
need them to go all the way. Like they still have Liverpool to play. Like I wouldn't want Liverpool to turn up to Aston Villa away with Aston Villa being like, oh yeah, well 5th place is calm. Let me just
yeah.
you know, I kind of want it to for everything to go down
Yeah.
to the line, or at least let us beat them, and then you know. But shout out Brentford. I'm not gonna lie. Again, it's not wins that Brentford get, but they get really useful draws from some.
They've got 3 draws in the last 3 games.
yeah, from positions when you would think, oh, maybe they're not gonna get anything out of this.
Yeah.
You know,
And look, the team chasing Aston Villa, who are now above them, Tottenham played Nottingham Forest last night. Again, good win for Tottenham. Bat saying that we never talk about Tottenham. He's like, why is the Tottenham section always 4 minutes? And I was like, well, when you played Fulham, that section was like 12 minutes.
yeah.
And he was like, yeah, because we lost. But look, man, Tottenham, they went ahead through the own goal. Murillo almost scored one of the best goals the Premier League's ever seen.
Yeah. I didn't even know Murillo was that young.
Yeah. 22. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, but it looks like a good player, man. Looks like a good player. But Chris Wood scores. He makes it 1-1. Destiny or Doggy sleeping. Not looking good for him at the minute. And then Chris Wood has the chance to put them 2-1 up that he should bat. I don't know why he's hit it that hard. There's absolutely no reason
to
crash it that hard against the post. But second half, Tottenham come out and they get the job done.
It's a great goal by Van der Ven.
Nicky Van der Ven with a screamer.
It's a great goal.
A screamer. Even Pedro Porro scored a really good.
Yeah.
But that is Pedro Porro. For all the shit I give Pedro Porro,
he can do that.
Technically, he's Diego Dallo.
Yeah. He is. There's a lot of similarities. There's Portuguese.
He could have been in our wingers list because he is a winger. He is not a right back.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mickey Van der Ven's goal especially rifled into the top corner. A really good goal. And that's a good win for Tottenham because now Newcastle at St James's, 12:30 on Saturday. I'm going to be there.
It's a little bit easier.
I'm going to be there. I'm going to be ready for that. Barnes, Isak, Gordon, Bruno, non-stop. Let's go. Let's see what happens. But yeah, Newcastle away at St. James's. Then I think they've got Arsenal. Then they've got Chelsea. Then they got Liverpool. Then Man City as well. So this was a vital 3 points for them.
They've got to get them in the bag now. Tottenham have been so, man, the last couple of weeks. Yeah. Like, patchy.
I think even Tottenham fans will tell you that they're a bit worried.
Yeah.
Because they always concede as well.
Yeah, they can't keep a clean sheet. Anyway, but I think despite them being patchy, they've actually still shown a consistency in terms of ability to sort of threaten teams, score goals, look decent from an attacking perspective. So I think that will give them some confidence, man. And Tottenham, I still think they're probably overachieving. Like, I didn't think they'd be in a top 4 race when Harry Kane left at the end of last season, or the beginning of the season, I should say. So I do have to give Ange some credit as well because, yeah, like Tottenham are there. Tottenham are challenging.
Ange deserves a lot of credit.
I don't like what he's saying though. Like I do get what I just don't like maybe Ange's personality.
Yeah.
Because he has the whole like
at the start it was nice.
Yeah. It's just who we are, mate.
Breath of fresh air.
But I don't like the whole if all you're coming to Tottenham for is top 4 Champions League football. You know, like come on, I understand that's the things maybe managers should say.
He has to say that.
Yeah,
right?
reach for the stars. But there's a lot of Tottenham fans who was like, yo, we're not one of those teams that always gets Champions League football to say, oh, I'm not just going to settle for Champions League football. No, I think I'd like a few years of Champions League football. Yeah. Like if I was a Tottenham fan, that's what I'd be saying.
But as a manager trying to build the culture, he has to.
I hear that. Do
that thing. But I think in terms of just this season, like if we are being unbiased, he's done a very, very good job.
No, he has.
Like you mentioned there, they lost their best player, potentially their greatest ever player in Harry Kane.
He's already Rookie of the Week.
Yeah, who is going to get Rookie of the Week because this shirt is going to be picking up a title. But for him to not only be where he is and get we always say that football's a results business, right? Especially for managers, you need to get the results. But I saw Jamie Carragher say this about Eric Ten Hag, that
He needs the
the
performances.
performances are probably more important. Like,
Ange has the performances
exactly,
this year.
exactly. He has the style of play. He has the performances. You can clearly see
What they're
what
trying to
Tottenham
do.
are trying to do when they have the ball. When
Yeah.
they don't have the ball, they're trying to press high. They're trying to win
Yeah,
it back
yeah.
immediately. And in that game on the weekend, Bissouma stinking it up.
Yeah.
Bentancur stinking it up. Or no, was it? No, Sarr
Yeah.
stinking it up. And halftime, make the two changes. Højbjerg and Bentancur come on. And not like they made a massive difference or whatever.
Yeah, but
Obviously,
they
the
changed
goals
their
come from
brand a
two
bit.
screamers, but at least he's being proactive. He knows he needs to change things. And yeah, based off this season, Tottenham fans told you they would have been happy with Europa League.
Yeah, and now they're actually genuine in contention for a Champions League position. And I think I was going to say another thing about Ange is, unlike Ten Hag, the reason I can hear Tottenham fans with Ange and give Ange time and give Ange players is because I think Ange's squad, it's not subpar, but as we spoke about those wingers on pro clubs, like,
Yeah,
those wingers are terrible.
yeah.
Werner and Mana Solomon and
Kulusevski, Johnson.
Johnson for 50 million. Like, if you actually got Ange and this high pressing football and this create chances, a ton of chances football, some genuinely good wingers with a little bit of quality, you can scare a defender.
And some genuinely good fullbacks.
Yeah, you might, you could actually be a good team. Like,
Yeah.
you could scare a couple of guys. I'm not saying obviously you're going to go win the league or whatever, but you could genuinely be a legit Premier League team, top 4, top 3, whatever it might be, sort of contender. So in 2 seasons' time, after a couple of transfer windows, if Ange is able to keep this style consistent and improve on the quality, because you can only go so far with Werner. You can only go so far with Kulusevski, with Brendan Johnson. Like, they're better than a lot of your Everton guys, but they're not scaring anybody in Europe, or they're not scaring anybody.
I think for Tottenham to close the gap,
midfield needs work as well.
It is difficult. It's difficult because even like, I think Man United fans have realized, like, yo, we're not getting back to the top anytime soon. The way they're talking, they realize how long it, and we know, bro, the level at which our club is playing at right now. Yeah, for a team like Tottenham or a team like Man United to get to that level and be able to compete and say, yeah, we need to go on a 15 game, 14 wins, 1 draw.
Yeah, to win the league.
To bridge that gap is hard. Like, we had to pay 100 million for Declan Rice.
No, I agree, but it's going to be tough. But you have to start somewhere, and at least they can start with a manager and a style of football.
Yeah,
and Man United don't even have that. They don't know if the manager's going to stay. They don't know what style of football they have.
According to you, they do.
He will. Whoa.
They do have style of football.
A chaotic style of ball.
Chaos ball.
It's getting the point. It's just not sustainable.
It's not something.
It's not something I'd buy into.
Yeah.
But at least at the very least, Tottenham have that. They have a style of football, and they have an identity and a manager that they can trust and say, hey, look, man, give him not 100 million to spend on one player, but give him 100 million in the market. Let him put some pieces together, and let's see if
try and close that gap.
Yeah, let's and then the season after that, let's see where we are. Maybe we do something in the champs, get to round of 16, get to whatever it could be.
But best believe when they go to St James's Park.
Yeah, Tottenham will lose more games between now and the end of the season.
But one team that does not have a style of play, at least for as much as we can see, Chelsea went to Sheffield United on the weekend.
Chelsea just suck.
And they went ahead twice. They were in the lead twice. They gave up the lead twice. Shout out Sheffield United, because you're finally fighting. You're finally putting up some performances, even at Anfield.
Yeah,
you fought, you made it difficult. So shout out Sheffield United. McBurney getting his goal at the death, but we have to talk about Chelsea and what is going on there. Pochettino coming out afterwards saying this is a 5-year process, which I agree with. And
Pochettino won't be here next year. When managers start coming out,
maybe not. But whoever comes in, those players at Chelsea are not good. They are not good.
I don't know, man.
Dizazi, not good. Badiashile, not good. Gusto is good, especially going forward. But
he didn't even play Gusto, or he didn't get many minutes.
Cucurella got cooked by Anthony.
Yeah.
Enzo,
Petrovic is not good enough.
Yeah.
Or at least he needs time.
Yeah. They thought they struck gold with Petrovic.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, yeah. Enzo, and I've said this before, and I will keep saying this about Enzo when I make this point, he's going to get beaten with the same stick that Granit Xhaka got beaten with, right? And I always used to tell you guys that, if Granit Xhaka was in the Man City team, he'd be doing this, this, and this. And you guys thought I was just on the Xhaka train, but I was kind of right.
No.
If Xhaka was in the City team, Pep would have him in build-up at left back and getting the ball from the goalkeeper and playing diags. Look, if Enzo was in the Arsenal team, I'm not saying, look, Enzo doesn't get in the Arsenal team, firstly. But if he was in the Arsenal team and he had a run of games, he'd probably look like a decent player.
Yeah.
But the problem is he's not in the Arsenal team. So I can only judge him based off what I'm seeing at Chelsea. And it's not good. I don't even know if these stats about Enzo are true, that he's never won back-to-back Premier League games. I don't even know if that's true. But
sounds believable. That's the problem.
Or that Enzo's got like 7 Stamford Bridge wins since 2022 or something. But and I had this conversation with Arman, who has a real issue with Pochettino playing Conor Gallagher in the 10.
Yeah.
Especially in games against Sheffield United.
Yeah. Show some
and I understand that. But I think Poch needs to do that, because if you play Caicedo and Enzo with Palmer or Carney or whoever, Mudryk in the 10, Caicedo and Enzo are going to get munched by Josh Cullen and Xander.
But they shouldn't. But they shouldn't
get munched by Gustavo Harmer and these guys, because that is their level.
Look, I think twofold. I agree with you that on a level, a lot of these Chelsea players aren't that good, or they're not as good as the price tags would suggest, or the hype around them that Chelsea fans were giving us at the beginning of the season would suggest. But I do think with Chelsea, it's a lot more coaching than it is actual player ability. Like, Chelsea shouldn't be below Wolves, shouldn't be below,
who has a better midfield?
Bournemouth. Lamina. You know I like Lamina.
Lamina, I love João Gomez.
Yeah. Tidy.
Tommy Doyle.
Tidy.
Pass.
But, okay, actually, to be fair, because Conor Gallagher, Caicedo, and Enzo. But I'm not gonna sit here and say actually Wolves is better. That's so. That's neck and neck.
Yeah, that could be because Gary O'Neill's getting the maximum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If on max ability, the Chelsea midfield should do better. I just think Poch has a lot of shit at his feet. Yes, I agree. At the beginning of the season, it's rough. Chelsea, the politics behind it, the behind the scenes stuff. Players weren't getting sold, players were being brought in, all of that. And there comes a point where you hit November and that stuff falls to the wayside because the season is finally fully underway. You're 10 games in, whatever it is. And you're like, all right, I have these players with me. What is the style of football I'm going to play? What is the system I'm going to use to get the best out of these guys?
Yeah.
Who is, like, the whole Poch doesn't know his best 11 stuff. You can't be saying that 10 games to go to the end of the season. Like, like, I still don't think that the skill gap between Chelsea's players and United's players is whatever it is actually currently
6 points.
Is it only that much?
Yeah.
It feels like it's a lot bigger. Yeah, it's not that much. But the positional gap.
And Chelsea have a game in hand.
Yeah. The positional gap between United in 6th and Chelsea in 9th. And Chelsea are only holding.
Chelsea are closer to United than United are to Tottenham.
That is crazy. So this is my point. These two are mud brothers.
Yeah.
Mud brothers. Yeah. And to be fair, Chelsea could still finish above United.
Yeah.
But I give Ten Hag some credit from being able to, whilst having no system, whilst having no anything credible to come out from a managerial perspective, I can put points on the board. Chelsea's last...
Because he's fallen into a team with quality players.
No, Chelsea's last 3 games is... Now, this is... Put player quality to the side. 2-2 draw with Burnley.
Yeah.
At home, 10 men.
But
4-3 win over United at the death after leading by 2 goals. And then 2-2 with Sheffield. Put quality to the side.
How can you put player quality to the side?
I'm just saying, because... It's
and
same
then
thing.
say 2-2 with Burnley.
No, but same thing with Kate. Same thing that Flex was asking Kate. Do Chelsea have better players than Burnley? Do Chelsea have better players than Sheffield?
Yeah.
put a system together.
So go and beat them.
Put a system together.
When Man United played Burnley, do you remember that game at Turf Moor when Johnny Evans plays that pass and Bruno Fernandes hits it on the volley and buries it?
Yeah.
Burnley in that game were the better team. They were the better coach team. Clearly. Amdouni had a couple chances, missed his
chances. I remember.
But one clip ping from 35-year-old Johnny Evans on his left foot and Bruno Fernandes with a ridiculous volley, and they win the game 1-0.
And I agree.
But I'm also not defending Pochettino.
But
because Pochettino is not 100%, he is not getting the maximum.
But as Arman is saying about Conor Gallagher in the 10 and all of this kind of stuff, you have the problem Chelsea have, they have too many players to choose from. They have too much going on. Yeah. But it doesn't excuse that you should have a system together to dominate possession, dominate the ball, dominate chances versus Sheffield United versus Burnley. Like, I don't know what Poch is up to with this team. But there is no excuse for the up and the downness. Like, Chelsea should be finishing 6th. Yeah, and we should still be grilling them for how poor they've been. The fact that Chelsea could finish 9th, 10th, they're not fully out of. I know they said that they can finish above United, but Wolves and Bournemouth are right on them. Like Wolves and Bournemouth were 12th place, a draw and a win away from being level on points to Chelsea, who still have to play us. We still have to play. Yeah, you feel me? So I hear it. I hear that the players are bad. Badiashile has been bad. The Sassy has been bad this season. Enzo has been bad. Gallagher, all of that has been bad. But I don't actually think Enzo's won a World Cup. Gallagher, he's shown that he can be more than just a mid-table. Maybe not more than just a mid-table. He can be in and amongst sort of 8 to 6, 8 to 4 in a Barclays Premier League team. Yeah. So I don't get why Pochettino has all of these guys to look so terrible. Yeah,
but we say that you just used 4 or 5 souls there. Yeah, and they're 6 points off United. But we talk about United like, let's give Ten Hag credit.
It's fair. Look, that's a fair point because
and look,
I don't think that Chelsea will finish above United.
Yeah,
I think United will finish above Chelsea, and I think it will probably end up being with a 9-point gap.
Yeah, it probably will be because Chelsea are so just that inconsistent.
But that's what I don't get. That is what I don't get with Chelsea and with Pochettino, and that is why if I was a Chelsea fan, I'd cut my losses. It's the same thing with United. I think the risk of doubling down with Pochettino and the risk of doubling down with Ten Hag and finding yourselves in this exact same position 12 months from now is so unbearable.
Yeah.
That you might.
That's what Chelsea fans were saying last.
Yeah. That you might as well.
But look, if you look at those teams, and look, for those who don't know, we've got the league table up here, right? So you look at Chelsea and you look at those teams above them, right? If you were to go player for player in the starting 11 with all of those teams that are above Chelsea, do you think Chelsea would win or have more players in the team? Because I'm looking at Newcastle. Newcastle's front three: Gordon, Barnes, Isak, Calm.
Yeah, it's better than Chelsea's.
Yeah, Cole Palmer's in there. Bruno G's in there. Maybe Willock. Or if you want to put Enzo in that team, you could put Enzo. That's 2 players. A fully fit Newcastle back 4. I don't know who gets in from Chelsea. And keeper, Nick Pope. So that's 2 players you're putting in there. West Ham again. Paquetá, Kudus, Bowen.
And the reason
So have they actually got a better starting 11 than those teams above them?
But I think the reason we're even mentioning players, I don't think personal ability. Yeah, I don't think personal ability that these players, like Isak, to be fair, he's better than Nicholas Jackson. Yeah, ability wise. But Anthony Gordon, Cole Palmer, you could say is similar sort of ability. Yeah.
But Cole Palmer would get in the team.
Yeah.
But also he played on the 10 on the weekend or whatever. But Chelsea's wingers, Madueke, Mudryk,
even Madueke,
Carney, whoever.
Madueke has shown in the games that he's played that he can have quality in him. Yeah, even this goal the weekend was nice.
Yeah, it was, but he stunk up the gaff in that game.
Yeah.
He stunk up the gaff and then he came away with the goal, which was a nice goal.
So I think Chelsea's downfall has been
I think those players are inconsistent players.
I think they're inconsistent, but I think the downfall has been the manager. They're all young. They're bound to be inconsistent, but the manager has, even within that, with like not gotten a grip of the mentality of the young players. I don't think all Noni and Carney and all these guys are turning up to training with the mentality of like, I'm gonna maximize today.
Why are you mentioning those two?
Nah. But I'm just saying that I think Poch, of what I thought of Poch before, was he would at least get a grip of the mentality of the club and the players, and he would create.
But I
don't even think Chelsea fans are fighting for places in the starting 11. Like, I think guys, it's on some rotational basis. It's like, yo, I don't need to try too hard because somebody's gonna stink up the gaff for 3 games. And Poch is gonna have to turn to me.
I do think it takes a bit of time to build that, though.
I hear that, but are you seeing anything? Are you seeing any Chelsea?
Pochettino is not doing enough.
Chelsea show resilience in certain games.
And if Pochettino was to get sacked tomorrow, I would not come in.
Yeah, he has nothing to.
That's the wrong decision. But I'm just saying, for me personally, and again, I relate this to the Arsenal thing of like when I looked at the caliber of that squad and Mikel Arteta finishing 8th, I thought, this is probably
that's the
where
squad.
we are.
But I think our squad is worse than this squad that Chelsea have.
The squad that Arteta
had that finished 8th. Yeah. Squad ran Mustafi. Because at least the thing is with Mustafi and...
But it's a difficult one to compare because obviously the league's different.
The league's different. But Mustafi, Socrates, the age profile, David Luiz, the age profile of these players is like, what can you do with a 34-year-old David Luiz?
He had like an Aubameyang.
Yeah, it's they have a Cole Palmer. He's not. Well, Enzo's not Granit Xhaka, but Granit Xhaka of those times wasn't putting in the Arteta Granit Xhaka performances. He could have been as bad as Enzo. Yeah, to a neutral perspective, it's like, what is the difference? I'm sure Chelsea fans will tell you, oh, Enzo's progressive passes.
Well, most football fans will tell you that Granit Xhaka has never been as good as Enzo.
Yeah. So I've said this all season. I think Chelsea are such a curious case because I can't quite actually put my finger on it for why they are so bad. Because I look at some of their pieces and I think Sterling's a decent. Sterling. It's not even that Sterling should be getting 15 and 10. Like I knew I had to tamper my expectations after the first season, but Sterling should be getting more than 5 and 3 or whatever he has currently. Yeah.
But that one is more on Sterling because Sterling.
I agree. That one is a bit
old enough.
That one is a bit more on Sterling.
He's played in title-winning teams. He's played for Pep. But I look at their team. Nicholas Jackson. I think he's operating at his maximum currently.
Yeah.
Like Cole Palmer operating
probably
like at his maximum currently. Mudryk. I don't know about Mudryk, right? I don't know what level, but that's one that you can maybe say, right? Madueke, I think the inconsistencies in Madueke's game, yes, it's on Poch to minimize that, but also I think Madueke is a young player. He's not really used to the league. He hasn't really had enough minutes. Gallagher, I think, is playing at his maximum.
I think Gallagher is playing at his maximum effort.
I think that the biggest issue Pochettino has
is not getting much out of Enzo and Caicedo.
Yeah, and also Pochettino's style of football, at least from what we saw at Tottenham, high intensity, high running numbers, like put the press on, play high up the pitch, athletes in midfield, get up and down.
Yeah.
And Chelsea don't have those kind of players. And the reason I say like Berger and Cullen or Harmer and McAtee and these man will munch Caicedo and Enzo is not because they're better players, but because they're maybe more bigger athletes, maybe willing to get up and down. Whereas if Chelsea got a De Zerbi, and that's the one that they're looking at, obviously there's the Brighton connection, whatever. De Zerbi's worked with Mudryk before. De Zerbi's worked with Caicedo. We saw what they were on. If De Zerbi came in and tried to play a possession-based style of football, Enzo might look better. I think that's a big problem.
I agree with you, but my issues and our issues with Caicedo have not even necessarily been his physicality.
Yeah. I agree.
He's been,
but this season, his physicality has looked...
It's dropped. The levels have dropped, but he's been careless on the ball.
Yeah.
Enzo has been...
Pochettino's not telling him, be careless on the ball.
Enzo has been careless on the ball, sloppy on the ball. Conor Gallagher is on the ball is probably his weakest.
He will always be sloppy.
He'll probably be his weakest sort of like contribution to the team, and I think it's up to our managers to recognize that and like Poch is a smart enough. When Poch comes out in press conferences and in, I know he says a lot of wild shit in press conferences, but when he's speaking about football and Roy Keane is interviewing him, all this kind of stuff, it's like, all right, you can clearly tell that he sees it, he knows what to do, he can draw the X's and O's. So for Poch to, I don't know, maybe beat down the door with we need to play physical football with Enzo and Caicedo, like I just think it's like Chelsea and United are so. Look at the last 3 results and the manners of those results and the performances within those games, and nothing screams to me more. I'm in my banter era than those 3 results for both of those teams. I just think it's ridiculous for them to be in the situations they're in with the money that they've spent, and for Chelsea fans and for Man United fans to like put combined exercise together and talk about how big their managers are and all this kind of stuff. Like, you should both be looking to start afresh at the start of next year.
Facts.
And I hear you; they do deserve some time.
But the thing is, Man United can have their mass clear out similar to Arteta at Arsenal. Chelsea can't have that.
Yeah, Chelsea can't have that.
These men are locked down for 7, 8, 9
and
years.
Chelsea, and if Poch isn't going to be the guy to get something, and not quickly in terms of results, need to win 3 out of 4 games, but just something out of like some consistency in performance or quality of like you can play the same quality match 2 games in a row and win 1 and lose 1, or win 1 and draw 1. Chelsea will have a high-ish quality game and then an absolute stinker of a match. Same with you. Well, United's maybe even worse. They'll always have a chaotic factor to their match, but I just don't. There needs to be a manager, or there needs to be some signs from both of those clubs of a consistency in performance, of quality of performance, and that doesn't guarantee you results all the time. But I think surely if I was a Chelsea fan, if I was a United fan, that's what I'd be asking for, man.
And the worst thing, just to end this Chelsea conversation, the worst thing when you're in that position is when you think you have that moment. Right. And
surely we can build from this.
Thursday, Pochettino's interview on TNT. Oh, the team needs to build from this. It's a moment we connected with the fans. He's always talking about having this connection with the fans. He's taken that from Mikel Arteta's playbook. And building this unity, which is vitally important, right? If you're going to do anything. But then you go to Sheffield United and you throw it away in the last minute of the game. And then it's like 1 step forward, 2 step backwards. That's what Pochettino's
that's been their season. Yeah, that's been their season.
Even I look at the Carabao Cup final when Liverpool's putting out all of them kids.
Yeah, come on.
They still
Johnny Dan's. Why, Poch should go just for subjecting that on us.
Maybe. But look, we'll move it on to Wolves versus West Ham. West Ham came away with the 2-1 win. James Ward-Prowse scoring directly from our corner. But the big talking point in this game, Wolves had an equaliser in the last minute of the game. It got ruled out.
It was crazy.
Because there was apparently, I don't know who the player was.
It was a young guy, like 19-year-old.
Standing in front of Fabianski. But Fabianski's not getting anywhere near the ball because the ball's gone in corner of the goal. And VAR ruled it out.
I think it's an interesting one because it's one of those ones where it's a subjective offside. They've sent the referee to the monitor, and I think that it's interesting because I personally don't think the goal should have been disallowed. I think those ones should stand. Sometimes I agree that an offside player can get in the way of a goalkeeper, obstruct his view, wherever it might be, and it is very subjective. Yes, but Kilman headed that ball within the 6-yard box. He's like just at the edge of the 6-yard box. Before Kilman's even touched the ground, the ball is in the back of the net. And I think the only reason the ref has made that decision is because he's been sent to the monitor. And he's thinking, they've sent me here to make a head.
They obviously think that this should be ruled out.
They've sent me here to make a headlining decision. But I don't necessarily think if the linesman, it's one of those ones where I think maybe if the linesman flags it, calm. But if the linesman's kept his flag down and VAR has interjected and said, hey, just double check in if I think it's poor, man. And I feel for Wolves because Wolves have been hard done by. Wolves have been hard done by. Gary O'Neill was fuming. Fuming at the end. I
think they've lost close to like 10 points.
Yeah, Gary O'Neill was fuming at the end of that, man.
I think you just got to use a bit of common sense in that situation. Like Fabianski is never getting that.
It's bottom bins.
Whether the guy is standing there or not, Fabianski is not getting to that ball. But It was a good win for West Ham.
It was a good win for West Ham.
West Ham are really starting to they got the point against Tottenham midweek. They're really starting to maybe kick on a bit here.
It makes me think because they should have won the game versus Newcastle. It makes me think that is football just getting them back.
Yeah.
You know,
swings and roundabouts.
Yeah.
But yeah, they look like they're pushing for Europa League. And you mentioned Newcastle there. They went away to Fulham. Solid away performance. Came away with a 1-0.
Yeah.
Happy days.
There's a churn. There's definitely a fight. For 7th, 8th.
Yeah. For those Europa League spots. And again, Anthony Gordon. Looking threatening. Picks up. Almost got an assist. But he is looking like
it's a problem, man.
And that's part of the reason I cannot wait to see this guy up against, if he's on the left, Pedro Porro. If he's on the right, Destiny Udogie. That's gonna be cinema. You know that meme. This is cinema. Yeah, it's Martin Scorsese.
Yeah,
but Alexander Isak, a game away from home, non-existent. Didn't even realize he was on the pitch. Classic.
Tough fixture, man.
Tough fixture where you need your number 9.
Tough fixture, Fulham away
to win you the game.
Yeah, no, I think, to be fair, I can let it slide. He scored a couple braces in the last couple of weeks. He's still probably 4-3 or 3-2.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it might be.
4-3 home games.
Yo, Newcastle, whatever they're doing, it's their home form that's going to get them.
Yeah, facts.
So I think it was good wins for both of those teams. I think those games honestly were all splitting hairs, man.
Yeah.
Like either team could have won either of those games. I feel
Bruno
maybe
G
more
turning up again.
Yeah, I feel maybe more.
I don't know if we've had this conversation, but Bruno G and Douglas Luiz.
Yeah, I asked you that question between Paqueta, Douglas Luiz, and Bruno G.
We'll leave out Paqueta.
I'm taking Douglas Luiz over Bruno G.
Paqueta's clearly, but I think he plays a different position.
I'm taking Douglas Luiz over Bruno G. I like Doug. I've been on the Douglas Luiz train for 2 years. When he scored the free kick, the corner versus us.
Arsenal, but you've also been on the Bruno G train.
Yeah, I think Bruno G is a very good player.
I would say Bruno G.
I think
he obviously scored this weekend. But
I think Douglas Luiz is a bit more of an athlete. He can get up and down a bit more than Bruno G can get up and down. I feel like Bruno D.
I think it's very close.
It is very close.
It's not like I don't look at Douglas Luiz and think, yeah, he's an athlete.
That's true. I don't look, but I sometimes, maybe sometimes it comes down to running style. I feel like Bruno G shuffles along, he's like
he's got that he's really that Jorginho kind of really trying to move.
But their quality, man. Yeah. Both of them. If either club need to sell in the summer, I think a lot of clubs are going to sort of come after those players. And I was going to say, that's why I feel even more hard done by for Gary O'Neill, was because he's looking at those clubs thinking, I'm in and amongst them.
Yeah.
With my Wolves team. And he's getting shagged out at these points versus them. Like he's thinking, I'm competing for the 7th, 8th place, wanting to get Europa. But yeah, I think honestly, the mid-table teams are gonna have the biggest say in the title race now. Now that the big teams are out of the way with each other, what happens? Who's gonna get 7th? Who's gonna get 8th? Will also decide who's gonna get the title.
Yeah,
and that's how I feel for the remaining of the season. Obviously, Liverpool have to go to West Ham away, Fulham away, all this kind of stuff. So Villa. So those teams and the informness of their players mean everything.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a good win for Newcastle. I think they picked up 7 points from the 3 games they played.
Yeah, they turned it around pretty quickly.
Yeah, and obviously another home game next weekend.
No Kieran Trippier.
Yeah. No Livramento.
Yeah.
Lewis Hall came in. Emil Kraft at right back.
Yeah, Emil Kraft gave away a penalty though in that game. I don't know why they didn't.
Mate, Eddie Howe, man, he's getting the maximum out of those boys.
I'm not sure.
Potentially manager of the season, but Everton versus Burnley, Sean Dyche, clean sheets. It's what he does. I was shocked to see that was Everton's first win since December or something.
Yeah. They were drawing
and Calvert-Lewin scoring goals the only way he knows how.
Calvert-Lewin, man, I'm at a point of sympathy for him, because even though he's 2 for 2, the distinct lack of I can't say instinct, but the distinct lack of
clinical
clinical ability it's all on
Ruthlessness.
it's all on display. It's all on display. He'll miss the striker's chance, and the ricochet rebound will go in for him. That's his game now. And there was a point where he was in England squads, man. There was a point where he was like second fiddle to Kane, and he's the second option, and like
80 million.
Yeah, that, all those kind of price tags. I don't know what happened. If he didn't work on his game, if he started modeling too much, you never know.
Yeah.
But even though today should be a day where he should get a lot of praise,
Injuries have killed him.
Injuries have killed him. Today should be a day where he's getting a lot of praise. But when I look at what his game has become, we're not talking about the headers anymore. We're not talking about the air-defying leaps to win the ball in the air that we used to.
Not talking about goals.
Yeah.
Not talking about hold-up play.
No. And Burnley been doing this, man. Burnley been shooting themselves in the foot. Burnley been throwing away points. I don't think Everton won that game. You're saying it's their first win since November. They didn't win that game. Burnley just gifted them 3 points and said, "Yeah, just get out of here, man.
Yeah.
Take this from us and go."
And then finally Luton versus Bournemouth.
This is a good win.
Massive win.
Yeah, this is a good win.
Coming from 1-0 down as well. When I saw Bournemouth took the lead, I thought that might be it.
Yeah.
But at Kenilworth Road, they've done it time and time again. They fight back. They go to the end.
They deserve this.
Carlton Morris scoring the winner. And I like Rob Edwards as well, man.
I do as well.
After the Arsenal game.
I do as well.
He was talking. He was like, they're the one team out of the three that can play any sort of game, physical game, and not just because he gave Arsenal praise, but just what he's doing at this for Luton, man. Like,
look at how it looks.
Luton didn't really bring in any players. They expected to just go straight back down, and they're the only team down there that actually looks like they can
put up a fight.
Yeah, cause a massive upset and stay in this league.
Look at how it looks. Luton level on points with Nottingham Forest, and they're 2 points behind Everton, who've obviously just got another points deduction. So either three of those teams could honestly go now.
Yeah,
I think Everton and Nottingham Forest have more quality.
Brentford could get sucked into it, man.
Yeah, Brentford could get sucked into it. Everton have a game in hand on Brentford. So I do think Everton and Nottingham Forest have more quality than Luton. But what I will say is I think Luton have been fighting harder for points for longer, if that makes sense. Like Luton I feel like they've really been squeezing teams. If you're going to get points from us, it's a real squeeze to get it out of us. Whereas I think Nottingham Forest have just started that run in the last couple of games, and Everton have obviously had their first win in forever.
Yeah.
So I think we said this a couple of weeks ago, man. For a lot of these teams, actually, I think it's more so about the strikers. Carlton Morris, as you can see, getting winners and stuff. Yeah. Who's going to make it 2-1, 3-2?
Chris Wood bagging goals.
Yeah. Who's gonna put the ball in the back of the net and give your team something to cling on to, rather than can we sort of get clean sheets and defend resolutely from these teams,
Because we said this before, when you're down there, if you have someone that can score goals, it'll give you a real chance. Real chance.
Yeah. I think the whole, apart from Everton, who can probably actually say maybe you have an identity and a manager that has an identity, I don't think any of these teams keep clean sheets for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's got to be about putting teams away, taking our chances, putting pressure on guys to then show we have something to cling on to.
And Everton play Forest next week.
Yeah.
which will be a massive,
which will be very, very, very tasty.
But yeah, that's all the fixtures. MVP and Rookie of the Week.
MVP will I'll give one to Arteta just because I think he's got stuff spot on. I'll go give one to Kai Havertz.
Kobbie Mainoo.
Yeah, Kobbie Mainoo, huge
I was going to give
goal.
One to Ruben Amorim. I watched their derby on the weekend. Sporting played Benfica. They won in the last minute. I had to watch Victor Gyökeres.
Is he doing the things?
And Victor, he looks serious, man.
I'm still not bought in.
He looks like a serious player. But yeah, I'll shout out Ruben Amorim because they won that derby, and I think they're 2 or 3 points clear at the top now.
Yeah, I got to give an MVP to Luka Doncic as well. I was watching that game last night. He didn't even necessarily hit. Kyrie actually got 48, so maybe Kyrie should get it. But Luka was just making the plays. Like, I think they were 3 points down with like 4 seconds left on the clock. They double team Luka. He makes the right play.
Yeah.
So guy makes an open three.
The processing speed.
Yeah, exactly. The CPU chip is on overdrive.
Rookies.
rookies of the week. Jao Kwanzaa.
Oh,
Unfortunate.
I feel like that's a harsh one.
It's a harsh one, but at the same time, you can't be that cavalier in a running.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be that cavalier in a running. Wan-Bissaka, boy.
Yeah.
I wish I could times 10 your rookie of the
Muric.
week. Yeah, Muric. Just Burnley. Burnley's back four.
Yep.
All of you guys are getting a rookie of the week. Pochettino.
Chelsea Football Club.
Pochettino, man.
Chelsea Football Club.
You can't escape the ups and the downs. You know, that when you win like that in the last minute, you have to win your next game. Back it up.
Especially
Back
if it's
it
Sheffield
up.
United.
Back it up. Don't let people like us with a microphone come and stomp on your parade. Don't even give us the chance to stomp on your parade. Back it up. Shout out Jean-Philippe. I'm gonna give him an MVP. Jean-Philippe, I cuss you a lot, man. I used to think he was like just a nothing striker in the Barclays Premier League, almost the standard of what terrible strikers look like in the Premier League. But this season, I think you've really done your thing, Jean-Philippe. You've given Crystal Palace not much to worry about. You know.
Yeah. I think that's it from me. If you have got to the end of this episode, please subscribe on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, follow us on Spotify, on the Instagram, on the TikTok, all of that stuff. And yeah, man, look, we're closing in now.
Yeah.
7 games left. We'll be back here next week. Arsenal will have played Bayern.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. And yeah, hopefully things keep going the way they are. But thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week, and peace.